Hello my fellow garden gals and guys, welcome back to my channel, Serenity Now Garden. My name's Jeannie and I garden in central Minnesota in zone 4B. So today I'm just in my cut flower garden. I showed you my cut flower garden last week, so this week I'm going to kind of go over a couple other areas. My Millennium Alliums are blooming right now, so I'm going to take you up front and show you those. It's my favorite time of the year, just in mid-August. And this is also a really good time of year for all the coneflowers. So I just added a few coneflowers and also some phlox that I'm going to show you. We have a couple different varieties and a new one that I found called Sunseeker Rainbow that's really pretty that I want to share with you. So stay tuned and I'll just take you around my garden here. Thanks guys, happy gardening. Okay, I'm going to show you guys my front bed first because I want to show you the Millennium Alliums that are blooming right now. Mid-August. We're just in zone 4 here, central Minnesota. First, I want to stop at this plant to show you because it's just amazed me all season long. This is an early bird mix columbine. I got this from Home Depot and it has just bloomed and rebloomed all season. Usually these are spring bloomers. So I don't know if it's going to be like that every year or if just kind of a fluke thing this first year, but I love this plant. My front bed here, a couple years ago, this was all buckthorn. So this front bed is only about 4 years old. But check out these Millennium Alliums. They're just starting to get some pollinators on them. Now when they open just a little bit more, they're covered. They will have like 10 or 15 bumblebees each on each plant. But they are one of my favorite perennials. They're super easy. They could take part sun to full sun. They could take really poor soil. They could take the heat, drought conditions. And you just don't have to do anything with this plant. If it bloomed just a little bit longer, it'd probably be my absolute favorite perennial. So I have a lot going on in this bed. I'm kind of in a transition. I'm taking some of these silver mound artemisias out and replacing them with a few other plants. But yep, this is my favorite time of year. When the Millennium Alliums start blooming, it's usually when my garden's pretty much at peak. We still have a lot of the sedums that are going to bloom still. Even in this bed, there's some sedum matrona just behind this, but it's just a glorious time. They're just really eye-catching, and then, even the foliage is pretty when they're not blooming. And you can leave the spent blooms on all winter for some winter interest. I love it. I do have some coneflowers here that I want to show you. These are Magnus coneflowers. So these are the taller, about 3.5 feet. These are the old-fashioned native Magnus coneflowers. If you leave the seed heads on, some will fall and reseed, and they should look like this plant since it is a native. So you could see there's a seedling right there. Now they won't flower the first year, but they should flower next year. And you can also transplant this somewhere else. But those are just from seeds that have fallen over the winter. So these are almost spent. It's that time of year. It's getting sad that these are going to be faded a little, in just a little. This is a Pow Wow Wildberry, I believe. Yes. It's more of a compact variety of coneflower. So here's my front bed. My neighbors actually put in a little bed next to theirs too, next to their driveway. So this is where I first started gardening at this house just a few years ago. I mean, I've been gardening over 20 some years, but this is where I started here. And so far, I love it. Here are little lime hydrangeas. I just want to show you. I'll probably show you again next week because they're not in full glory yet, but almost. Look at the size of these blooms too. They're just huge. In my side yard, I'm just going to kind of go through slowly so you could see. And I want to take you to the back to show you all the new varieties of coneflowers I just planted. They're really shining this time of year in August. So we have Here we have kind of like a rock garden type area on the right and just various plants I planted about 2 years ago on the left. This kind of needs to fill in. I want this to feel like a hallway, like a tunnel almost eventually. And we'll get some privacy on the left. This is my hosta bed over here. I just did a hosta tour a few weeks ago. If you guys want to check that out, I'll put it in the description. And here's my backyard. Let me just kind of pan around so you could see. This was a real work in progress last year. So last year, this was like nothing. It was, trees fell down. I was in the middle of getting stumps ground out, and all this, most of it was planted just within the last 12 months. So it's been a lot of work, but very rewarding. I love my backyard now. And here I am in my cut flower garden. This is a new addition this year. We have gomphrena here and some zinnias. I love those ping pong purple gompphrenas, and there's some atomic purple that are still going to turn like a dark purple. I have 4 different varieties here. These are only a few dollars. You can direct sow these seeds and you'll have color the whole entire season. So here's some amaranth. This part here is still going to bloom. Here's some love lies bleeding that are blooming right now. You could cut these and put them in flower arrangements. Here's some coneflowers here at the front of this bed. This is my favorite variety, Kismet Raspberry. I love it. Got some Agastaki in the back there. We got a double scoop variety here, raspberry. These do not help the pollinators though, these double types of coneflowers, but still very pretty. Another Kismet that's new, so it really hasn't filled in. You could see some pollinators on it there. The coneflowers just bring the color this time of year, and they're very long lasting, so I decided to add a few more. Here's a Merlot. Now, Merlot coneflowers get the dark burgundy stems, and right there, actually, I got stung. Decided to leave that in for a public service announcement there. So don't go grabbing your coneflowers when there's pollinators all over them, because there might be one on the back, and you might get stung. But very pretty. These will get about 3 feet tall, and the blooms are really large. So that's Merlot. I would say coneflowers are probably my favorite. This one is one of my favorites too. This is just starting to bloom. It's going to look like this. This is a meadow blazing star liatris, so it's a native. I'll show you one towards the end of the video that has monarchs on it. Here is the new variety of coneflower I wanted to show you. It will look like this fully grown. This is Sunseeker Rainbow. Isn't this gorgeous? There's some oranges, some pinks. The blooms are just really, really full. I decided to get 3 of these and put them back here. These are first year, obviously, so they will fill in quite nice. So pretty. And it really pops from far away when you have this lighter color here. We got some My Monet Wigelia in the front there. Back here, this is a Pow Wow Wildberry. Like I said, these are more compact, so if you're looking for one that you could put more in the front of the border, Pow Wow Wildberry would be a good one. These are just starting to turn, which means it's almost that time of year. So sad that it's coming to an end soon, but very pretty nonetheless, and I just savor every minute of it. There's some candy apple hydrangeas there. I got a few more to show you on the other side here. So I decided this needs color back here. This area gets part sun, a few hours, so it could take some phlox and some coneflowers. I put a phlox here. I don't know the variety. This is just a Lowe's brand, but I just thought the color was so striking. It's like this hot pink but corally type color. And these will fill in a couple feet tall and wide. Very pretty. Thought that was the perfect color. There's some ajuga that's dark around it. Here's another Sunseekers. I'm grabbing further down on the stem, but I don't think I learned my lesson yet. But yeah, the Sunseeker Rainbow, gorgeous. Look at that one like orange bloom when it first comes in. These change through the years, just so pretty. Here's one called Ruby Star. Now this isn't blooming yet. I'll show you a picture of what it looks like in bloom. And even though it's called Ruby Star, it actually gets like more of a pinkish type color. So this is a taller variety. Gets about, oh, just around 3 feet tall. So you could put it a little further back. We got some caladiums in the front. We got some more phlox right here that I just planted. Same color. A lot of mosquitoes back here this time of year too. Got some coleus there in front. This is a phlox here that I planted last year. These kind of like go in and out of bloom. So this will fill in one more time, maybe 2 more times. It's just a lavender. We got some veronica that's kind of spent. This is another phlox, same as the other color I showed you. So I just kind of wanted to match the color over here for some cohesiveness, I guess you could say. And if you look just behind this, this is a cardinal flower. This is a native. I had a hummingbird visit this. I just planted it. I'll show you a picture of the hummingbird here. So this red color really attracts the hummingbirds. This is in the lobelia family, and it is gorgeous. It can take part shade, and it likes moisture. And this will spread a bit, so I think it'll look even better next year because it has a little bit of transplant shock, but highly recommend that. That's a cardinal flower. It's in the lobelia family, or Lobelia cardinalis. It's really good in these wetland areas that I have, so. And let me show you another one next to this hosta. This is also a lobelia. This one is called Great Blue Lobelia. So this is a blue color. This will also fill in the area. It is a native. Same conditions as the cardinal flower. It could take moisture, part shade, and it starts to bloom the end of summer through fall. So I got some red and blue back here. I'm really happy with those plants. This one's second year, like I said, but it should fill in even more. Kind of spread a bit. This is a Sombrero Salsa Red coneflower. Now, when these first started coming in, or first started blooming a few weeks ago, they were really red. Now they're kind of fading to a blush color that I really love. But I just got these at Home Depot for like $9. This is second year, so highly recommend those. In this area, we got some firelight hydrangea in the back there. We have a dancing queen hosta in the front. That gold hosta really pops. And here we have another Pow Wow Wildberry. And we have grasshoppers. Does anyone else have a ton of grasshoppers this year? Like an apocalyptic amount? I do. They're all over my yard this year. Last year they weren't this bad. But like I said, I'm just in central Minnesota here. Every year's a bit different. So I love my coneflowers. Very long lasting, and put another, I believe this one is a Pow Wow Wildberry as well. This one's a little more faded. They fade first of all my varieties. And another Sunseeker Rainbow, because I love it. And let me just show you my other side of the garden bed here in front of my cut flower garden. I already showed you those Kismet Raspberry coneflowers there. There's another Meadow Blazing Star Liatris here. It's crazy. Like, it's just going everywhere. I love it. And look there's a monarch. These are always covered in monarchs, and these start blooming like the end of, well, mid-August here in Zone 4 through to first frost. So I highly recommend these. This is second year, so it'll fill in even more. But they'll start opening these little feathery purple flowers, and I just love it. One more coneflower I want to show you over here, guys. This is a Cheyenne Spirit. So it comes in kind of like a orangish pink color, and now it's kind of a blush color. It constantly changes, looks like a sunset, and it is just gorgeous. So I highly recommend that too. Love my coneflowers. I want to plant even more, but thanks for watching, you guys. Happy gardening and see you next week.